What's good? My name is Charity Crawford. Here's a fact. Just 0.5% of all gun violence is related to terrorism. And the vast majority of that terrorism was committed by white Christian men. Islamic extremists only account for 2.6% of the mass shootings in America. That is 2% of 0.5%. That means that Muslim terrorism only accounts for 0.0001% of the gun violence in our country. Almost nothing. But here's an even crazier fact. 90% of all the murders in the history of the world were done by men. So why don't we just ban all men and make this a women-only country? Think whatever you want, but it is a guaranteed statistical fact that if this were a women-only country, it would have the lowest murder rates on earth. But we're not going to do that because that's stupid. Equally as stupid as an executive order that inadvertently leads to the harassment of millions of beautiful, innocent Muslim people. And I know what you're thinking. But you're just talking about gun violence. What about all the other terrorist attacks that happened? I'm glad you brought that up. It's true. About 3,100 innocent Americans have died in terrorist attacks since September 11, 2001. But keep in mind, of those 3,100 people that died, 2,902 of them died on September 11, 2001. So let's be clear. When we say terrorism in this country, 93% of what we're talking about is 9/11. Well, despite the fact that Trump's executive order consistently mentions 9/11 and consistently mentions terrorism, none of the home countries of the 19 hijackers are included in the ban. So what really is this about? Well, first of all, this is not a Muslim ban. I'll be honest, I read the entire executive order as written in New York Times, and nowhere in it does it include the words Muslim or Islam. Now, many political people will try to use that fact to justify it and say, see, this has nothing to do with religion, racism, or Islamophobia. If you actually read the executive order, you'll see that it's only about the 7 countries that have terrorist affiliation. Well, to those people, I'll first repeat, it does not include the home countries of any of the 19 men that were responsible for the largest terrorist attack in the history of America. Those countries are Saudi Arabia, Egypt, United Arab Emirates, and Lebanon. They are not in there. Second, it does have everything to do with religion, racism, and Islamophobia, and here's why. First, we must remember that although this is a political country, it's actually far more of a psychological country, with real people, with real feelings, and real biases and real prejudices. So with that being said, it's not like this ban is just a computer program that's going to automatically filter out people from those 7 countries. It is an order that will be enforced by everyday airport security guards and border patrol. So what you get is not this clean, pretty fulfillment of an order. You end up with a bunch of airport security stopping everyone they see in a hijab or a turban and demanding them to prove that they are not a terrorist. It is impossible to enact this type of an executive order without creating an environment for racial profiling and Islamophobia to fester. We have an entire country that's afraid of brown men in turbans when it is a statistical fact that you are over 100 times more likely to die at the hands of a white man in a t-shirt. In this country, a woman is beaten by a man every 9 seconds. 1 in 5 women have been raped. Yet for some reason, you don't see men getting randomly stopped at airports to ensure that they are not a rapist or an abuser. When ironically, that would keep the American population much more safe than banning the citizens of 7 Muslim majority countries. Why don't we ban white policing in minority areas, since we have clearly seen that that leads to racially charged murder? Trump's executive order states that they will make publicly available information regarding the number of foreign nationals in the United States who have been charged with terrorism-related offenses while in the United States, convicted of terrorism-related offenses while in the United States, or removed from the United States based on terrorism-related activity, affiliation, or material support to a terrorism-related organization. But what about the domestic terrorists? What about the Ku Klux Klan? Can we expect to see a detailed list of all the living members of the Klan and their affiliates? Because considering the fact that 90% of American terrorism is done by white men, that would be an astoundingly more helpful list. It even says in Section 9, Part 3 of Trump's executive order that they will release information regarding the number and types of acts of gender-based violence against women done by foreign nationals. Yet they conveniently omit the fact that almost all of gender-based violence against American women is done by American men, the vast majority of which are of Caucasian descent and don't have a drop of Middle Eastern heritage in their families. In short, my fellow Americans, I ask that you do not live your lives in fear. Islam is not the enemy of America. In fact, radical Muslim terrorism is close to the very bottom of potential threats to your life in this country. And lastly, to all of the amazing Muslim people of the world, never take off your hijab, queen. Never take off your turban, king. Speak in whatever language you so choose. You are amazing. You are beautiful. You are strong. You are valuable. And to all of the people of the world, I love you.